Welcome to Breaking Barriers. You know your path. We know the obstacles, and we can teach you how to tear them down. And now your host, CEO and founder of Adapting Social, John Vigero.
All right, guys, welcome back to Breaking Barriers. I am super excited. We got Danielle Cabral with us today. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. We ain't talking nothing about Housewives, right?
It.
She got exclusive details. She was allowed to be here today, so we don't talk about that. So any of the questions we had, we're like, yo, because we tell our listeners once people were coming on, and people are like, oh, asking questions about the house, and I'm like, we ain't bringing it up. We can't talk about it.
I know.
Right? It's exclusive shit.
It is. It's the wait's almost over. The show is airing in a couple of weeks. So.
Yeah, May's coming 5th. Up sooner than we can expect. Obviously, it's on Bravo, right?
Yes.
So anybody out there who doesn't know about the show, you're living under a rock probably. But
really?
Go on Bravo. So first off, what I think is so amazing, right? So my mom, I found out about the Housewives just in general back in the day, right? Like my mom used to love the show. Still does. And then my wife, when I met her, she watched it, and so fast forward, the cool part about meeting you in particular is like most people don't know like what reality stars or people on TV are like in person, right? But the best part about obviously working with you and meeting you is you're such a great person. You're a mother, you're a great wife, and you're just so down to earth, right? And we worked with a lot of different TV stars and different things like that all around the world. And some people it gets to their head. And that was one of the things that I loved instantly when we met you. The whole team was obsessed with you, right? They're like, she's so fucking cool. And that was the coolest thing. So first off, thank you for being such a great person. I think that's awesome.
It's the easiest thing in the world,
right.
To be honest with you. And people tell me that all the time. They're like, wow. I'm like, why? What do you get? What do you deal with?
Right.
People lose that.
Yeah.
And I hope I never do. I hope I always feel like I'm this small micro influencer. And I just said this to my PR team. I'm like, I wish I could talk for all the micro influencers.
Right.
They're like, Danielle, you're not a micro influencer. Like, I hope I never lose that mentality.
Yeah. Well, because that's a good point. Actually, you're not, because if you were just an influencer, that means you would only be kind of like famous from social media only.
Right.
But you actually are on TV and like that type of stuff. So that's true.
Right.
They got a point. So I want to get through just the filming and stuff component first, and then we'll move to the business.
Okay.
But so for people out there that are like, oh, I want to be on Real World, or I want to be on these TV shows, and all that cool stuff. What would you say to them? Like, have you enjoyed it? Do you love it? Like, what are some of the things that like you love or don't love about it? And would you, like, for instance, if your kids, when they were like, let's say in their 20s, they get an opportunity to be on MTV or some, like, what advice you're gonna give them?
Well, here's what I can say. If you are a 20-year-old that wants to go on a reality show for fame or whatever, think twice.
Okay.
Think twice. But if you are someone that in your bones, you feel like you have to be out there and shine, like this is your calling and you will not be happy unless you do this, do it.
Right.
It's going to suck.
Right.
But do it because
Right.
there are some beautiful components that come along with it if you're
Right.
smart about it.
Right.
The world is an evil place.
Yeah.
People are mean.
Yeah.
And you could be the most kindest, nicest person, but they will come for you.
Right.
Trolls. But even people that are in the industry, what I've experienced is that to hold their spot and maintain their spot, they will do anything.
Yeah.
They will go to the depths of hell.
Right.
I've experienced this this year.
Yeah.
And do it. There's nothing it's like when I would want to date a bad guy and my mother would be like, don't date him. Well,
Right.
now I'm going to date him more.
Yeah. Right.
Do it.
Right.
There's nothing that I'm going to say that's going to stop you on your journey.
Yeah.
Just know with good, there's always bad.
Double edge.
Right. And just be ready for it and go in with a plan. Don't go in expecting things to happen overnight. Because take it from me, and we'll get into the business aspect of it.
Yeah.
You're on a hit reality show. You come out with a product, you are not selling out. Unless you are Taylor Swift, unless you are Cardi B.
Right.
It's not happening.
Right.
So I would say do it.
Yeah. So you'd say do it. And so now so many people, one of the things that I think about, right? So like, when you're having a bad day, right? You're a human. But when you're having a bad day and you're on a hit TV show, right?
Yeah.
And you're out with your family, and people are like, they're all like trying to ask you questions, whatever. Like, are those part of like the bad times? Like, what would you say is like, damn, like this makes you question whether or not this is worth it? Like, is there like, what are the things like that
So in real life, in public, and out with my family, that's the beautiful times.
Yeah.
Because those are the people that will come up and say, and can you curse on this podcast?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone on my cast gets this, but I will go out and I get, we fucking love you. You know, like I get that. And
Yeah.
I get all the love.
Right.
It's when you are home and by accident you stumble across a comment that says you are the scum of the earth, worthless, and you're like, oh, that's the hardest part.
Right.
But I've learned to see like those people that are in different states that I don't know.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Right.
It's the people that I have trusted and I have let in my circle that have let me down, that have hurt me the most this year. And I feel like that's a side of fame
Yeah.
and this world
Yeah.
that nobody talks about. And I cannot wait to meet other people in this industry to be like, hey, has this ever happened to you? Because the people that I let in my circle
Yeah.
have used me, abused me, and tried to step on me to benefit themselves. When all I ever did was try to champion them.
Right.
That's the worst part about this fame game for me.
And that's understandable. And that man, you know, one of the things though too, so many people, especially the you know, TV people or even the sports people we work with, like it's so, and I know it's easier said than done, right? But you'll get advice where somebody says, hey, Danielle, don't let somebody in the comments bother you, right? But like when it's happening and like you're sitting there, it's like we're people. So like when you see somebody say something shitty as hell, it's like, what the, like, first off, what the fuck? Like, why are you even saying these things? Like,
Well,
and then you look up some of their accounts. Then you look at some of their accounts, and they're just like, they're useless. What are you doing? Like, you got nothing better to do?
So that's happened. I mean, in the
gazillion
Housewives
times.
world, it's insane. When that has happened to me, I sit back and I'm like, this is going to happen to my daughter one day, and she's gonna come to me and cry. What would I tell her? And then I look in the mirror, and I tell myself, and I go, suit up. Because one day you're gonna have to give the advice to Valentina.
Yeah.
And listen to it.
Yeah.
Like I said, that to me, I'm getting used to. It's like cool. Like everybody makes fun of the clothes that I wear and how I look and this and that. And I would get like super insecure. Someone who's so loud and boisterous. People want to take the sparkle out of me and the beauty out of me.
Right.
And that's so sad.
It is.
Right? Like
what are they going through that
right,
they
like,
have to put that negative in?
I like this sweater. It made me feel happy.
Yeah.
And you want to destroy me for it. Like, why you have such a
gaining?
bad day?
Yeah, what are you gaining?
I feel bad for people like that.
Yeah.
But I got used to that.
Yeah.
It's I love working with you.
Yeah.
Imagine you were to go and do a podcast and say the most horrible things about me.
Right.
And you know what it comes down to? You let people in your team.
Yeah.
And you think they're championing you.
Yeah.
But they want your spot.
Right.
That's the problem.
Well, they want to see you do good, but not better than them.
Right.
Right.
But they also want what you have. And I've
Right.
noticed that. I'm like, wow, nobody just wants to do my hair. They want to be a housewife.
Right.
Oh, that's why you want to come for me and kill me and tear me down, because you want to be on TV.
Yeah.
It's such a tricky world now, man. My circle's
It
like,
is. It should be though, you know. It should be.
It is.
At the end of the day, one of the things that, like, you know, I was fortunate, like in my setting, to start my company when I was like young 17-year-old. You know, built up a decent business, and then I got older and I kept building it, and I was putting myself out there. So in the entrepreneurship community, obviously people know me, but like I could be somewhere, right, and not have to worry about somebody being like, oh, that's John, right? But, you know, to your point, like, you know, and a lot of people's points, right? Like, I think you said it so well before, like, hey, if you feel like this is your calling and you want to go all in, right, then do it. I also love most people on Bravo, like, that I see start businesses. Like you said, not everyone crushes it. Like, you see, like, there's certain people on Southern Charm as an example, right? Like the guy Austin, like he has like the beer company, right? Like I don't see it blowing up the same way the guy Craig's is. Like Craig's pillow thing, he's like crushing it, right? So it's like everybody has different things on TV. But the one thing that, like, because my wife is so damn conservative, it's like, you know, she's like, listen, we have our businesses, like we don't need to like be out there for those reasons. But
wait, what do you mean by crush it? Let's talk business for a second. You know his numbers, or you just see him all over social?
No. So essentially, I know somebody who knows the kind of operations back there, and like, it could be wrong, but apparently they're crushing it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing.
And right, that's what I'm saying. Like, good for them, good for him. You know.
100%.
Yeah.
In his business, in this Bravo world.
Yeah.
There's a million lanes. Everybody's got their own lane.
Totally.
Rise to the top, baby, shine. Doesn't mean because he sells a pillow,
Right.
it's gonna, good, go.
Go sell the pillows.
Go sell the pillows.
Right.
Go sell the pillows.
Right.
And if you're successful, I want to know how you did it. That's
Right.
my motto.
Let's learn.
Right.
Let's grow from it.
Let's have coffee. Let's go out. You tell me how you did it, because let me tell you, I am going all in, and it is hard.
It's difficult. It's difficult.
It's difficult.
It's difficult.
And I think with Boujie Kidz and my company, what I am doing, and I maybe it's not the best technique, but I am literally building a brand
Right.
before I even have the stock of inventory and product.
Right. Yeah.
It's maybe not the best thing, because you look at
I think that's the best thing financially, right? When you think about the world we live in today, we live in a world now where 20 years ago, if you were going to make t-shirts, right, just a random clothing company, you would hold inventory, invest all this money in inventory, and then just sit with it. And then you're out all that money while you're hoping these shirts sell. Whereas the world that we live in now, you don't need to do that anymore. You could build a brand first, and then boom, get everybody ready to go, and then go.
Right.
So
My
I think
goal-
you're doing it smart.
My goal is, I've done so much. I cannot wait for this season to air, because what we did with Boujie Kidz, what we did together, what we Fashion Week, I mean, amazing, right?
Yeah.
So now the name will hold a little bit more weight.
Correct.
I won't be this new
Like,
loud chick
right.
of one season in.
Yeah.
Now people will be a little bit more invested in me and the
Yep.
brand. My goal is to go sit with the major retailers and say, hi, let's do something together.
How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
And what is that?
It's the hype button. You gotta hit the hype
Hell
button.
yeah! I love it. Hold on, I'll push it.
Yeah, there you go.
But I'm new to the fashion world, very new, and there are companies that will take you on, and they have a whole team of designers. They manufacture, and I went to one recently.
Yeah.
They didn't sign me.
Yep.
Hopefully next year they will.
Right.
But if that's the case, I come in, and this is how all the Paris Hiltons of the world, these are the
Totally.
major celebrities.
Yes.
When they build a brand,
Yep.
they have built their name so
Right,
big
right.
where they walk into a room and they go, I like that. Not so much that. I like that. And there's 50 people
Right.
that are putting the whole thing together.
Running around.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a whole team.
thing. And then they show up, the launch of their line, and they smile as if they did
The whole thing.
See, right now, I'm doing the whole thing. I mean, we're
Started from the bottom. Started from the bottom.
I hope to say now we're here.
Yeah.
But and I'm happy I am. You know
Yeah.
why? Because now when I sit in a room
Yep.
with these people,
Right.
they can't talk shit to me. I can be
Right.
like, wait,
Because you understand it.
I understand it.
Yeah.
So wait, you're not going to charge me this because I know how much this
Yeah.
costs. Or
Doubling what?
yeah. Or when the social media comes out, I'm like, no, that doesn't.
Yeah.
So you're like, I know every aspect of a business.
Right,
Am
right.
I successful? Am I financially set? Fuck no. But
Not yet. We're getting there.
No, but I think the beauty is I know what I'm talking about. And I
Right.
don't think a lot of these people that are in this world do.
Can I tell you one thing? We in business call that a fucking Harvard education. Because there's one thing that you go to Harvard, they say you spend whatever, 500,000, whatever it is to go to Harvard. I don't know what it actually is, so I'm probably getting roasted for that. But whatever it actually
Not
is,
far off.
yeah, whatever the hell it is, it's expensive. But the point is in business, you overinvest in inventory. You know, you hire the wrong people
yeah.
sometimes. You do whatever. All those things are Harvard educations because now, like you just said, you're in a room with people who are like, all right, here's this blonde on TV. You know,
Yep.
she doesn't know what she's talking about. Let's double this price on this one thing she won't notice. But you're
Yep.
like, fuck no. I
Yep.
caught that. I know that. So everything you're going through, like start from the bottom mentality, is only going to propel you and make you 10x better. Because imagine, this is the thing that I love, is you'll see designers all over the place. They'll build a brand, they'll get out there, they'll start making money. But some of them came from money and have funding behind them already. So they'll skip these steps that you're doing.
Buku money. When I went to this meeting, right?
Yeah.
He said he just worked with someone that put 25 mil into the business. I'm sweating bullets over putting 20K into inventory. I'm like,
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah, oh my goodness. 25 mil?
25 mil. But you look at these brands that are walking the runway and they're in garbage bags, and you're like, wait, okay, time out. Is
What am I
this fashion? Because I don't know, maybe I should quit.
Right.
You know, it's just you have to get this education.
Yes.
And I think why your staff maybe loved working with me is because we actually had great meetings. Me and Michelle every Monday.
Yes.
It wasn't like she was talking to a reality star where she had to explain how to open an email. We bounced back ideas.
Right.
Where in this field, that may be nice, you know, to
Right.
have those conversations.
I gotta tell you, you hit dead on, because any designers we worked with in the past or even in the current, it's very different, right? Like you're speaking to somebody else's assistants, and it's just such a different vibe. Where when we're at the level with you right now, because again, we're at ground floor building,
Totally.
so we're having these really like war room meetings, like. What does this look like? Like we have to go through real depths of conversation, not just cool. Let's just throw it out there. Who cares? Whatever.
No.
It's real deep. And back to what I was saying earlier, though, is like, you know, at the end of the day, I've seen companies who have bypassed, you know, that process because they have the funding, and then when they blow it up, and then they have a bad month or a bad quarter or a bad year, then they're just fucked. They're done. Because they never knew I have to be frugal. I have to, you know, be whatever. It's just throw. And then when it comes down, when the fucking shit hits the fan, that's what separates a business owner that has that Harvard education you're going through right now versus somebody who doesn't.
Right.
Because a person who doesn't, when things are tough, when shit's good in business, obviously, everything's great, blah, blah, whatever. But it's like those are the defining moments where you see JCPenney's goes out of business, Macy's is closing everything down. Well, you know, it's like these are the things that you're learning that are going to help so tremendously.
I experienced that a little bit this year. I'm not gonna lie. That Housewife check came in, and I'm like, what am I investing in? What can I do?
Right.
Let's do this. Balls to the wall. Here we go. Here we go. I hosted a launch party, a relaunch party in my company. I mean, I can't tell you how much money I spent. So I had a taste of that.
Right.
Not on the millions of dollars levels.
Of course.
But where
it was a sick event, by the way.
Wasn't it
We
so
recorded it. Yeah, it was sick.
It was so good. I know you guys did all the content. All of our content is floor level this year, behind the scenes building, which I love. And yes, can't wait for that. But I learned, okay, now before, and to your point, before I make, God willing, God hear me please, the buku money.
Yep.
Right? I made some, and I know we ain't doing that again.
Right.
Let's be frugal, girlfriend.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Let's be frugal.
So
I learned to invest wisely now, and I'm glad I did that with not a lot of money.
Totally. You know, you hit the nail on the head again. That's the perfect mentality. One of the biggest things, I think the CEO or one of the CEOs of Home Depot, I read this thing, and he said he's always ran that business like your expenses, you always have to look at them like fingernails and toenails. They need to be clipped. Because at all times you have to look at what do I need, what don't I, like what the things that are going to move the business forward I need. But the things that I can move and whatever else, you should always have the mentality.
100%.
You know what I mean?
You have to.
15 years with Adapting Social, I sit down, my wife's my CFO, and we sit down all the time. And I'm like, what don't we need? Right? What don't we need? Right? Because again, you being this business owner, right? You know, it's like every dollar you put out to grow the business, if it's not bringing it back, then guess what? At the end of the day, then you're just taking money out of your own pocket. Right. So you have to strategically be like, okay, what's going to, but in your world though, too, the toughest part is the investment phase of building a brand is always never going to be positive in the beginning.
No. Right? Oh, right, I know.
That's the toughest part.
And I haven't invested crazy money.
I know.
Some people are like, Danielle, we literally invest hundreds of thousands. My girlfriend came out with a tank top line. She's like, I got an investor for $100K. I'm like, oh. And everything is self-funded.
Right.
I have no investors.
Right.
So everything came out of my personal bank account to pay for everything. Right. Which is okay.
The good thing though is when you make buku money and you don't have the investors, like whoever that person is, who knows how much equity they gave away, but when they have a buku money opportunity, they're not making all that money.
Yeah.
They're splitting it in a lot of ways.
I know.
So you're doing it the right way. Where like, again, with Adapting or any of the other companies that I own, I've never to this day, knock on wood, hopefully I never have to, I've never taken $1 from anybody. No banks, nothing, you know. So talk to me about, let's go into Boujie Kidz though.
Okay.
So talk to me about like, you know, obviously I think the biggest asset of that brand, right, is that you've found such a great way. By the way, everybody on my team always brags about your outfits. So anybody who says otherwise, fuck themselves. Okay. But literally everyone loves your, but you found a way to be getting, you know, our kids, right, styled out, right, but not breaking the fucking bank.
That's the goal.
And that's so cool though, right? So you're putting love into that because you want everybody to feel bougie. And I think the one thing that obviously, side note, that we're working on obviously, and we have to keep talking about in the future, is how to change the narrative, because when people see bougie, they think, oh, it's going to be expensive, right? So I'm not going to, but talk to us about that.
So, well, I think what I have to my advantage is people will know my name and my face.
Yeah.
So if they go along with Boujie Kidz, they're going to know, okay, we may be able to afford this. We like Danielle style. She's more of the moderate
Right.
housewives on the show,
Yeah.
I guess. But Boujie Kidz is going to be I have another brand, the Boujie Mama.
Yes.
I want it to be infinite. I want it to be a slew of things.
Yeah.
That live under one umbrella.
Right.
Right. So it's not just clothes, but Mommy and Me, Valentina's own makeup line, like home goods stuff. I
Yes.
want the whole thing.
Right.
I want you to walk into Home Goods and I want to have my own dedicated
Bam.
sections.
Right.
The Boujie Mama line.
Yes.
That really is the goal.
Right.
But and I am utilizing this amazing platform that I'm on that reaches millions of people.
Right.
To have people fall in love with the person.
Right.
And then the brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't have the bandwidth right now to create a brand where they fall in love with it as much as I would love for them to be like, I love Boujie Kidz. Holy shit, Danielle owns that.
Right.
Because that's the goal. Like,
Right. To have such a great
product
that they're like, oh, I didn't even know.
I didn't even know. Right. But along with that comes financial debt, I guess, in a way, where
Yep.
you have to invest
Yep.
a lot of that money.
Yep.
And I haven't done that, or I have not met the right person yet. I have
Yeah.
not met a business partner that's
Yeah.
like, this is my world.
Yes.
Hold on tight, girlfriend. Let's go.
We're running.
Everything is me walking into the door like, hi.
Yeah. Like let's do
this. Oh, okay. You know how to make clothes wholesale. Like,
Right.
I am learning everything.
Yeah.
And maybe with the level of celebrity as it grows,
Yep.
I will get those opportunities.
Right.
So, like you said, I'm learning.
You're driven though.
everything.
You're gonna do it. There's no way.
I know, which exhausts me. All right, because I
Yeah.
know, like when
Yeah.
you know in your heart,
Yeah.
there's no other way you're gonna fail.
Yeah.
You're already set on an exhausting path because you won't stop until it happens.
Right. Right.
That's been my life for 20 years.
Right. So, but with that said, there's one of these things. So, it's like, I think I told you this before, maybe I didn't, but there's a quote that I found when I was first starting adapting. I was 17, I'm like Googling shit, like, because at the time, my family had financial issues. I'm trying to help them. So like, by no means it was anybody like, oh, I'm going to back adapting to help your family. It was just like, so anyway, I started Googling shit and I found this quote that to this day, I still have legit in my closet from when I was 17. And it says, live a few years of your life like most people won't. So you can live the rest of your life like most people can't, right? So you got to go through the bullshit. You got to be like, oh my God, worrying about this, worrying about that. And it's like, but as long as you stay the course, it's impossible, right? Picture this. You can't say guarantee anything, but if you show up year over year and you keep putting Boujie Kidz out there and you're on this TV show and obviously you're building a brand, you're marketing, you're getting yourself out there, it's almost like impossible that it doesn't grow, because in theory, when you keep watering this plant over and over and over again, and people keep hearing it and hearing it and hearing it, eventually it has to stick. And that's the one thing about even adapting social, right? Like in the beginning phases, like I was working with a couple little small companies, whatever else that helped me help my family, and I got them out of that bad scenario. But then it's like, example, like, we're working with like Fortune 500 companies now. We work with like eClean, we work like eClean Bro and stuff. But like these people hear about us because we've been around for so long, right? If like these newer agency or newer clothing business that's competing in the kid space 10 years from now, right? As an example, they're not gonna have shit on you because you've been doing this for 10 years and you just been around and you ain't leaving.
Hello, look at my life right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Look at the show I'm on right now.
Right.
I don't hide from that.
Right.
Like I've been in this game 20 plus years, out in Cali.
Right.
Did I ever think it'd be Housewives? I say this all the time. No.
Right.
Did I always think, cool, that's a big ass show?
Right.
Cool. Yeah,
Right.
of course.
Right.
But I knocked on so many fucking doors.
Yeah, to get here.
Look where I am today. I have a #1 fucking hit.
Come on, let's go.
Hype that shit.
We
all
made
right?
it.
To your point, exactly. You put in
Yeah.
the hard work, it will pay off.
It will. As long as that's what I'm trying to tell you, is like, as long as you don't, if you just keep showing up, there's no way. So like, that's the thing. So like at the end of the day, I always tell one of my my oldest mentors, I think he's like in his mid 90s now. He's like an old like tech, telecommunications like mogul. Like this guy's like multi-billionaire, right? But when I first met him, he said to me, he goes, John, there's one thing you got to know. If you're going to win in business, there's only one thing you got to know. He goes, don't ever, and he kept saying ever give up. And he's like, as long as you don't, you'll be in it, and then, you can't lose. So again, to your point, that long, exhausting journey ahead, it's 100% long and exhausting, but it pays off tenfold, you know?
These past 20 years, I have cried. I have died. I have lost hope. I have been depressed.
Yep.
And then you know what? I went like this.
Got back up.
Okay. Who am I emailing in today? What am I filming today? What am I pitching today? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do it. That's what sets apart the ones that make it and the ones that will talk shit about the ones that make it.
Right.
Who are you going to be?
Right.
You know?
100%. What have you, so you said something when we were filming with you and Val that one day, when we were interviewing you on that.
Call her V.
V. So V. So when we were doing V and literally you said something that really hit me deep, being a parent, but you said that like you started out Boujie Kidz, you had your kids, and then you kind of like just focused on being a mom. And then, you know, you reigniting Boujie Kidz for you was like you kind of getting a piece of yourself back, right?
Yeah.
And talk about that, because there's so many mothers and even fathers out there who similar scenario where they started something, they're so passionate about something, and then their kids come and it takes priority, and then that's the focus.
Well, that's any parent.
Yeah.
Any mother. The mother takes the brunt of everything.
Right.
It just happens.
It's true. No, you're right.
I was working a sales job in Manhattan, miserable. Worked from home with my kids pack and play around me, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be a superstar.
Yeah.
What the hell?
What's going on here?
What's happening?
Right.
And I got so depressed about it. And it doesn't take away the beauty of loving my children.
Right.
But I just wasn't my happiest.
Correct.
So Boujie Kidz gave me a piece of like, okay, this is mine.
Yeah.
I gotta do the inventory. I gotta put the work in for this. It's my baby.
Yes.
It gave me a piece of that business savvy, because I am a businesswoman. I am. And it gave me that spark and that fun. And when the sale would come in, I'm like, oh, someone bought something. You know, like it's so exciting.
Yeah.
And it brought a little joy back into my life. That was a little newborn stages, baby stages, rough.
Tough. As I'm heading back into it, by the way.
Yeah, you are.
Opposite.
Reverse the hype. No, well, come on. That's a beautiful thing.
No, I love it. I'm so excited.
Yeah, well, you're fucked, but okay. Yeah. But you got to go through that.
Yeah.
But if something really is in your bones, whether it's baking cupcakes or cookies or wanting to make a t-shirt line, do it. It'll bring joy. Yeah. Don't expect to be a millionaire. Right. But expect to have some happiness in your life. And I feel like sometimes that's more important than the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's so fucking that's fire. That's fire. You gotta hit that. One of the things that is so powerful though, that I think you just said so well, and I've heard this, but like a lot of times when you're so passionate about a project, you know, I've heard so many people, you hear, oh, you know, do what you love, and you never work a day in your life, and I totally disagree with that statement, right? And I'll tell you why. But when you're building a business, you're getting rejected because you don't got $25 million to bring to this guy like the other person did, right? You're going through shit, you know, you don't always see sales coming in, right? It's not always amazing and sunshine and rainbows. So when you're doing your love, you got to fight for it and like with a death grip and hang on to it, right? Like a fucking tornado's coming. Yep. And so, but when you're so passionate about it, you just don't leave the game. You don't exit. You keep playing it. You keep going.
Can I tell you something? Right before I got cast on Housewives, I opened up, because I was getting so many no's for so many years. Yeah. Somebody DM'd me and said, fuck these production companies, start your own. Right. I launched my own production company called Relatable Productions. Ooh, okay. Whole business. I self-funded a pitch. Yeah. About 4 women, 4 mothers, all different stories. Yep. One sold cannabis. Yeah. One was a Jersey pageant owner. Yep. A pageant winner. And I self-funded a beautiful pitch. Yeah. Beautiful, ready to go. I actually was on my way to California to go to the Real Screen Summit to pitch it in front of a multitude of people. Yeah. Then I got cast on Housewives. And that's still there. I actually just paid money. I keep paying for Relatable Production State. But I did that work, and something else happened. You know, so it's like, you got to put in the work. You never know where you're going to end up. Yes. But doing that made me so happy.
Oh my gosh.
When the producers were like, you can't go to the summit, we have to film this year. Right. I was like, what do I do, Nate? Do I say no to Housewives and go on this path? Right. You never know. I could have went there and had something else completely. Right. But
well, after a couple of years of doing this, you probably can, and then boom, everyone knows you.
Well, why do you think everything happens for a reason?
100%. Yeah. You hit that on the head.
I have this production company. That's my dream, is to make shows.
Yep.
I have a show that I cannot wait to sell one day.
Yeah.
It's a dream of mine. It's a passion project. If someone says, Danielle, you can do this show, we'll give you $60,000 a year, I'd be like, cool, bye.
Right.
You know, because like, and listen, I love Housewives. I love being a part of this franchise. It's amazing, but I want beauty in the world.
Yeah. Yes.
I want beauty. I want to be a part of something where I could show my children.
Yeah.
I can't show my kids Housewives.
I know. Right.
I can't.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to hide away from the fact that I love to do film. I love to be a part of that.
Right.
And I don't know what we were talking about, but we veered off. But
yeah, no, it's fine. I guess that's amazing. But what I was saying though is like, you know, ultimately, like you like doing what you love to do, are passionate about. Like it's when you are in it. Oh, you said it for not for the money, right? So like what I was alluding to is most people who are super successful, right? Like look at like the Steve Jobs of the world with the iPhones and the iMacs and shit. It's like most of those people like him, like he was doing it because he wanted to make the best product on the planet. Like of course, when you do something so well, money chases you. Right.
How about that Amazon picture? Is that real? Where
Jeff Bezos?
He's in the room and he's got Amazon written on cardboard. Is that real?
Yes, yeah, it is real. He in a nutshell,
Really?
well, no, he was so frugal. So I was gonna say cheap, but he was so intentionally frugal.
Unbelievable.
That he went in his house and he took a door off the hinge and got a couple 2x4s and made a desk out of a door. He said, because I'm not gonna invest $1 in this fancy. I don't need a fancy desk. And literally when they interviewed him when he first became a billionaire, like the late 90s, they walked into his office and literally the door, he still had the same desk.
And he was driving like a Honda. Honda, right?
Yep, a Honda.
Oh,
and the guy interviewing him was like, can I ask, you know, the question, the big elephant in the room? He's like, and he's driving his Honda. He's like, yeah, what's up? He goes, why are you driving this car? You're a billionaire. And he's like, it's a great car.
It's a great car.
It's
a great car.
But that's my point. So back to what you were saying, it's like at the end of the day, it's like, you know, when you're just after making the best products or services, money chases you, you know, but it doesn't happen the other way around. Typically it still can, but you have to run so much harder and faster and longer when you're just after the money. So I think you have to know. So, all right. So we have two more questions.
Okay.
So this one's a little bit of an exercise though. So there's one that's a little bit harder and the one's like, I'll call it mild. It's not as spicy.
Okay.
Which one do you want first?
Spicy.
I like it. We've interviewed hundreds of entrepreneurs and asked that question, and it's very in line with the entrepreneurship that you said, give me the hard one first. Out of hundreds, I think we've only had like 5 people be like, give me the easy one first.
Okay.
So love that. Plays to your character perfectly. So let's think about your legacy, right? So like when you think about it, in most cases, you're thinking about where your shoes are planted here today and what you're going to be left behind, what you're going to leave behind, what you're going to be remembered by your kids, their kids, blah, whatever. So we're going to reverse engineer that. So the one thing that will supersede you, you know, your family, everybody would be your gravestone, right? So I want to use this exercise, right? And I'm gonna picture like a movie, right? So picture this scenario. Not that we ever want this to happen, but just for context purposes. So let's just say, you know, it's your kids and their kids, right? Visiting your grave, but in this example, again, God forbid, but in this example, just so we can understand what they would say, you know, your grandkids never got to meet you.
How sad.
Right? But I only asked for this purpose, though.
Okay.
For if V was saying, oh, you know, picture her kids right there and looking at the gravestone, they go, damn, if you met Grandma Danielle, you know, she was like X, what would they say?
If you met Grandma Danielle,
like, oh, I wish you could have met Grandma Danielle.
She was
blank.
Magic. She was magic.
Yeah.
Because with magic comes like an element of surprise and excitement, and I want to leave that. I want people to feel like they can be my best friend,
right?
But also look up to me for advice and happiness. I want to leave a little sparkle wherever I go.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
I love that. Yeah. And if you're not in the room and like, you know, your kids are like talking about you, right? Like when they're a little bit older, what do you want them to say? She was the absolute best. Yeah. Nobody was like my mommy. I love that. But now they're on the topic. And I know this is far out, right? But when your kids have kids, what do you want to be called?
Grandma.
You want to call grandma, not like Nona or
No.
like
No.
Grandma Dan?
No.
Just
No. Grandma.
got it.
Grandma. I think there's a beauty that comes along with
There
grandma.
is, yeah, there is.
You know?
Yeah. So the second question, in my opinion, is easier. But even though you aced the shit out of it, you knew that on the spot. Some people are like,
Yeah.
But has there been any quotes or any sort of things like that over the years that you've seen that make you think about resilience and like tough times and like surpassing tough times and getting through them?
Yeah. I actually have it tattooed on my ribs.
Oh, perfect.
And this too shall pass.
Mm.
Because in my darkest of times, because there's been many,
Yeah.
light always comes through.
Mm.
And if you hold on to the hope where it will pass, it will pass, it will pass, like a storm,
Yeah.
you'll be okay. And also, this is another great one by Walt Disney. If you dream it, you can live it.
I love it.
My life is a dream.
Right.
I've dreamt of what my life is today.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I believe those two quotes will protect you.
I love that. And so, you know, and
guided.
this too shall pass is it's so short and to the point, but it's such a true statement. Like, because when you're going through the shit, it feels like it's never gonna pass. You feel like it's the end. You're like,
Yep.
oh my God, this is it. But it's like it always typically does. And when you have
does.
that mentality, it helps you get through it.
Yep.
Danielle, thank you so much. You know, I'm grateful that we got to sit down, talk about, you know, your journey. You inspire so many amazing women entrepreneurs and mothers that are like, you know, I know when we put a little piece of that content out, you know, people were commenting and saying things like, oh my God, you know, I want to get back into my old swing of things before kids, and just a journey of starting your own business, right? And it's not easy, right? So, but every day you show up and you're doing what you do.
Just show
So
up.
thank you for being that sparkle, right? For a lot of people out there, motivating them, especially, you know, people, it doesn't have to just be women, right? It's business owners all around, parents all around. Where can people find you and engage with Boujie Kidz?
So it's bougiekids.com.
Yep.
We have an Instagram, Boujie Kidz Inc. My Instagram, which is Danielle Cabral Official. I have so many, gosh. DanielleCabral.com. But I have a lot of platforms that they
That's
can.
good.
Yeah.
Those are good starting points.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you want the best gear for your kids, you got to go to bougiekids.com.
Yeah,
you gotta hit it.
bougiekids.com.
You got to hit it. And wait, actually, just we'll spell it out, but just I know it's not spelled normal bougie, right? So,
No, it was taken.
Yeah.
Boujie.
Right.
NKIDZ.
Z. Bam.
Yeah.
All right, Danielle. Thank you so much. You're
My
the best.
pleasure.
Boom.